Rogue logic. This is the way.
Hey everyone, I hope that this is going to be a little bit helpful for people today who are thinking about selling online. I am going to concentrate on two things only, on eBay and on Amazon, because these are the two that I have quite a bit of experience with, and I hope I can help you just navigate a little if you've never done it before. Prior to that, if everyone could, I'd really appreciate it if you like, subscribe, put some comments down below, positive or negative. I'm really looking for feedback here, and hit notifications because, you know, I'd like you to know when my videos come out, and I'd really like to build the audience up. So with that, let me start with what I know the best, okay? That's eBay. Now, I am unfortunately old enough where I really started getting involved in eBay. Well, my eBay thing on here, or on eBay, is Dark Jester 2001. I did it because that's when I started. So I have been on and off selling and buying on eBay for over 20 years. So I do think I have a bit of experience on this one. What I will say, just as a basic way to start this off, is I remember my dad actually showed me an article in an the old newspaper, the real one, not a print one, and he showed me eBay, and I was like, wow, okay, you know, and I mean, people were starting to discover it, and then in its early days, it really was the first thing that had come along where basically I was not really looking for it for profit, for selling. What was amazing to me now was, rather than go haphazardly out searching for things that you probably would never find unless you were very lucky, the whole world was now basically establishing itself on eBay, and it was just, for me, it was fantastic because there were things that I wanted from my youth and certain collectibles that now I had a way to get them. And it was so great initially because, you know, like anything when it started, eBay was it had a lot of flaws in the beginning, but the ability to get some things that I never was going to be able to get again. I'll try to put a picture up on one or two. One of them was just these fantastic old pirate action figures that were basically, they were, I don't want to, well, they were copied from the Mego figures that, you know, that had Planet of the Apes, the Marvel superheroes, the DC superheroes, and they had smaller ones. They
Do you
had some
prefer to be
pirates
called
that
a
they
nerd
had
or a
of their own.
dork?
But anyway, these were made by Matchbox, the little toy car company, and they had Captain Hook and Captain Pegleg, and they had a Ghost of Captain Kidd, which was really this awesome action figure that glowed in the dark, and it was a mail away order. But at any rate, I was able to acquire it again after many years. Just one of my interests that I really enjoy, and I should be able to find some stock image of what this is, and I'll put it up. So before I digress too much, so I started selling things on eBay, and I still remember the very first thing that I tried to sell back in 2001, and it didn't sell. I was probably about 25 Silver Surfer comic books, Marvel superhero Silver Surfer, and they were from probably, I don't know, the late 80s, early 90s, and I think I had doubles of them because I really love comic books, so I don't think I was getting rid of any that I you know, unless I had doubles of them. So they didn't sell. I remember that very well. And over the years, I've used eBay, you know, as a second source of income. As you know, a lot of people have approached me after a while, and that has a lot of issues in itself. But I'm just going to try to give you the basic, this will be part one. So when that was first put out, when eBay was really getting started, you know, it really hadn't found its footing yet. So you had a lot of things to be careful of as a seller. Now, what I will say is, if you're just starting out right now, the landscape of eBay has changed over these 20 plus years in a vast way. So one thing that you don't have to worry about anymore that was really horrible is that the seller could very easily be taken advantage of by the buyer. And it did happen to me more than once. And, it was basically, live and learn. Now, you really are protected from that, but you still have to be very careful. So here would be my tips on what to do. Number one, when you list something, make sure that you take very clear, concise photos of whatever it is, and really do well on your description. And you can, at this point, you can even take short little films. So if there's anything, like for instance, I've sold, my father had pocket watches. I've sold them, and I wound them enough so you could see the gears moving. So if they have a little tiny 5-second video of the gears moving, you can prove to them that it works. So however much information you can present to the buyer or the bidder is the best, because, unfortunately, even though eBay now is is much safer for both buyers and sellers, it's also highly regulated. So there's kind of a trade-off. I mean, basically, unless you've got an item that is incredibly sought after, where you're going to have hundreds of bidders and stuff, and that still happens all the time, but a lot of eBay has become buy it now, and it's almost like a marketplace with a lot of things. So I only put things on there that I know I'm going to get a good profit for, and that people are actually going to bid on them. But as I said again, try to do your best with as much information as possible, and as many pictures as you can put on, so people don't have any questions about it, because you really run into a really annoying issue when returns are there, and you have to give returns. It's just something that you have to do. So that was number one. Number two, choose what you're going to sell wisely as far as shipping. Okay, I never deal with anything. I did once or twice, and I learned the hard way what a horrible idea it was. Anything way too heavy, it's unless you're talking about something that's thousands and thousands of dollars, where if someone's going to pay $10,000 for something, sure, if it's super heavy, they'll pay for freight shipping or whatever. But other than that, whatever your product is, you're going to have to make sure that it's easy to pack, it's easy to ship, and the breakability part, if you're sending fragile stuff, sure, that's great if you have the time and the resources to do it. But I just could never see the point in, fine glassware and things like this, because it's bound to break, and it's going to cause you a problem. So big items that are really heavy. And I mean, most of the time that I was actively on eBay, where I was actually doing it for a while, for almost a full-time job, as well as my other, well, it was still supplemental, but I did it a lot. I was selling books. Now, I would say right now, in 2023, if you have very, very valuable books, like if you have first editions, if you have things like that, eBay is still a really good marketplace to do that. With Amazon now, if you're just trying to sell books that are very common or anything, good luck is what I would say. It just really doesn't pay off. It's just next to impossible. So, if you also, what I would say right now, which I have not gotten to, but I would like to, is if eBay is still a really good place to start if you have very original or intricate things to sell that you're making yourself. Now, try to stay away from foods and things of that nature. I'm not sure right now. I don't even think it's legal to do that. But when you do that, you open yourself up for really getting into a lot of trouble. If you sent food and it is able to be done right now on eBay, which I don't think it is, other than prepackaged goods from large companies, you're just opening yourself up for, if someone got sick or anything like that. But what I was getting at is if you have crafts of some sort, or you're an artist, or you have something that goes with it. For instance, I have some ideas of what to market that would go with action figures, which I don't really want to talk about here because it's my idea and I don't want to share it right now. But it would be a unique item. So I do think eBay is still good for that. Excuse me. All right. So now, lastly, what I would say is here's how you will do very well on eBay. As soon as it's sold, make absolutely sure that you ship it as fast as you can, and make sure that you pack it well. One of my very first jobs that I ever had was working for a book dealer, and this is back when there were a lot of bookstores. He was a mail order book dealer. This is prior to the internet, and I learned how to pack things very well for shipping. Don't skimp on it. You do not have to spend a lot of money on shipping. I also worked in a spirit shop. I had access to cardboard boxes. I just asked if I could take them. You can always get cardboard somewhere. There's always places. You can use newspaper. You can, all of the things that are there to ship. If you're worried about, wow, I just don't really have the money to go out and buy bubble wrap and special boxes, you don't need to. You really, really can use things that are available and just be a little bit creative in how to acquire them. Lastly, I would say make sure in your description that you make it clear what your policies are. I still put that I don't accept returns because I make sure that I put a lot of information, and I say, please ask everything and answer your emails. If people ask you questions prior to the auction, I always do a 7-day auction pretty much, but don't ignore them. Make sure that you have good communication with these people, because I hate to say this, some of the people who are buyers on eBay, you've got to be a little bit wary of them. Number one, there are some that are just trying to take advantage of you. So right away, if they're asking you to sell what you've got outside of eBay and just say, hey, pull your auction, and first of all, it goes against the eBay policy. It's not really a good thing for a seller to do. Second, why would they be doing that? Think about it. They want what you've got and they want to offer you less money. This just happened to me again. They will write to you. I would ignore them. Don't make a habit of pulling your auctions off early and selling it to someone in a private manner, because it's just, first of all, you're going to have none of the protection from eBay when you do it that way. And second, you're really going to get a reputation on there as not being a reliable seller. So that's mostly what I would say about starting out on eBay. All right, everyone. So to sum up for today, for part one, I'm going to list right here what were the topics that I went through about selling on eBay, basically eBay 101. And to finish up this, because I found really that there's a really big story. It's just a little bit funny. And I'm going to finish the video off with this. I'm going to put that up on the side here. But it looks as if it only took, when you figure that, and this is the best part, they're not there yet. They're still considering it. But Connecticut considers exonerating people convicted of witchcraft in the 1600s. So all of us in the outside of the three main religions community or whatever, we're making some progress here. Let me read, let's see. Although they were murdered by superstitious European settlers hundreds of years ago, a resolution to exonerate Connecticut witches won massive support on Wednesday during a public hearing before the Legislative Judiciary Committee. So you would think this is pretty much a done deal. But I guess there's really nothing today that can be just, let's just do this. Because, let's see, there's a 12th generation resident from Fairfield. And she was related to Goody Knapp of Fairfield, who was hanged for witchcraft in 1653. And this was presided over by Roger Ludlow, who was a judge. And evidently, there's still some controversy here because even though he did this, one of the state representatives, I guess, Mr. Ludlow, is not on trial here. Now, I mean, this is really, this kind of shows you, if we can't come to a consensus on this, I'm not sure what we're going to, some of the issue here is evidently this Ludlow character has a few things named after him, and they're going down the road of it was the time period and they didn't know any better and whatnot. But anyway, I thought that was a fun side story to finish things out with. So I will have a part 2 coming out very soon. It will be a few more of the tips about selling on eBay that I may have skipped over or forgotten. And I'm going to segue into selling on Amazon, which is a very different story and very different experience for me. But I'd like to share what what my experiences were. So as always, please like, subscribe, and hit notifications so I can expand the channel. I would love to hear your comments below. Any questions you might have on eBay selling, I'd be glad to answer them. I've done it for a very long time, and I try to do it only sparingly now. But it's still a really viable way to really make some money, and it can be a lot of fun. So beyond that, everyone, be kind to one another whenever you can, which is almost all the time. And please be kind to animals. We're their voice, and they are very needed. Wow, I'm not going to even cut it out. They need us to speak for them. That's what I meant. And just because I meant to do this a couple videos ago, but I always like to pick one of the charities that I find that I have given to in the past. And what my suggestion always is, first, is to go on one of the various sites. You can find them in a very easy search. Charity Watch, or what charities are the best as far as where the money actually goes. And the one that I'd like to talk about just briefly is the Blind Cat Rescue. And I'm going to put up their information right here. It's just a really great place that it's just such a really wonderful way for these cats that really probably have hit the wall as far as finding a home. But they do, as far as I know, they do also get these cats to homes that will take them in. And, if you have an indoor cat that is blind, they can really function great. They really adapt well, but this is a really great charity. The money is not going to some big CEO and getting, pilfered around somewhere. So I highly recommend it. And if you are a cat lover, they always are in need of donations, as well as you can send stuff from, say, Chewy, as far as to feed the cats that are there. And it's just a really great charity that I think does a lot of good. And if you look at their website, you'll see a lot of really sweet little cats that are really cute, even though they may not be able to see. It really doesn't make any difference. So everyone, have a great night and peace.
Basil says, I don't fear the wolves.